shall I seek thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. How shall I serve thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I serve thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. How shall I worship thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I worship thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. How shall I love thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I love thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. How shall I seek thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I seek thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. How shall I serve thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I serve thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. How shall I worship thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I worship thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. Just as a fire may burn a whole forest, burn to the root my desires. How shall I love thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I seek thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I serve thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? How shall I worship thee, Lord my God, with every breath I breathe? Let's meditate for just a few moments together.
Welcome, everyone. And to those online, welcome to Ananda Portland. This is our celebration, our commemoration of Swami Kriyananda's discipleship to his guru, Paramahansa Yogananda. And it will be a lovely evening to share together. My name is Lorna, this is Badri, and we are just happy to be here this evening with you. This is a very special evening. It's a special date. Often because of the way the calendar works, we don't celebrate right on the actual anniversary of this important event, but this year we are, September 12th. So let's take a breath and center ourselves, and let's start together with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters of self-realization, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashai, Swami Sri Yukteswar, Paramahansa Yogananda, saints of all paths, friend and guide Swami Kriyananda. We gratefully bow to you all. Divine Mother, thank you for sending us the wisdom of this path. The joy that we share in divine friendship. As we seek your bliss together. Thank you for the life of Swami Kriyananda. His example, his friendship, his love, and the light that he shared with all. Help us to walk in his footsteps and come home to thee. Om, peace. Amen. Thank you. As I said, this evening is an experience that we have together to look a little bit at the life of Swami Kriyananda and his discipleship and what that meant to him as well as all of us. Without that event of him coming to Yogananda and saying, I want to be your disciple, Ananda, in the form that we have now, would not exist. Yogananda's mission was bound to happen. It was divinely planned and ordained, and it had the power to move forward, probably without Swami Kriyananda. But I can't imagine how that would have happened. I just can't imagine. So Ananda came into being. And we're all here because something in Swami's discipleship and in this path attracted us, pulled us to this particular divine ray. This isn't the only divine ray on the planet that is helping to lift and inspire and transform consciousness, but this is ours. This is the one that we share, and that's why we're here this evening. Thank you for being here with us. And now I'll ask the choir to come up, and we're going to share a couple songs. Swami Kriyananda wrote a lot of music, and we're sharing 5 songs tonight, but they'll all be wonderful. Come on up. Okay.
Walk like a man. passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Cowards see but pride in singularity. Oh, never mind if men are wrong, so long as they agree. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Claim the power within you, ever to defy. The world may change or disappear, but truth can never die. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone.
You ready to go on alone? Let's do it together. Wonderful. Thank you. It's just so much fun singing those songs. It might be fun hearing those songs too. But it sure is fun singing them. So what we're going to share with you now is a short clip. It's less than 5 minutes of Swami Kriyananda speaking. There's no video, so you don't have to look at the screen. It's just his voice recording. And he's talking about attunement to the Guru. So what we're doing here tonight is not just honoring Swami Kriyananda as the founder of Ananda, but actually focusing the lens of on the Guru, on the idea, the concept, the tradition, the reality, the life of having a Guru and being a disciple, and what that meant for Swami Kriyananda, but what it also might mean for us. And so this particular clip, he's talking about attunement to the Guru. And you'll just need to listen. You can look at his picture if you want to, or close your eyes. And then we're going to go on with the evening with a little more presentation, some more music. We'll have it also a chance to read and recite the discipleship vow. So if you're a disciple, you can do that. If you're not a disciple, that's perfectly fine. See it as an introduction and as a way of understanding discipleship. So let's first just listen together. Oh, she's going to put a picture. It's a still picture. It's not going to move of Swami Kriyananda back in the olden days. This is probably in the 80s or maybe even a little earlier, of him when he had his long hair and he looked really like a yogi at that point.
The Guru, in a sense, is like a lighthouse. He's not so much giving as he's radiating outward to everybody. Yes, he gives specifically to the disciple too, but so many people think that he's doing it and don't understand the extent to which we have to draw it. If we try to attune ourselves to a person who is, even an unenlightened person, you want to become a good artist? Mix with artists. You'll draw their magnetism. It'll help you to be a good artist. You want to become a good mathematician? Wouldn't hurt you to meditate on the picture of Einstein. He won't know that you're meditating on him, possibly he won't. I don't know what he's doing up there these days. But you will draw his magnetism by concentrating on his image. The photograph of a person can actually help you to attune yourself to his vibration and draw that vibration into you, whether he's conscious of it or not. How much more so is it so with a real guru? But understand that it's a question of your drawing that magnetism, and his power will give it to you the more you draw, yes, but we've got to do that effort too. When we draw on that, then we are able to awaken ourselves. His power, his magnetism is something that we can make just like a little transistor radio. I remember when radios were, back in the 20s when I was a small boy, the radios were this big. Now you can get the same sound and much better sound over a little tiny box. So also, a very efficient instrument on your part will make it possible for you to draw a maximum amount of energy, where a big instrument that's inefficient, and you'll draw very little energy from the guru, even if you're with him night and day. And some people are with masters night and day and don't get anywhere because they're not drawing. Remember, Jesus said to that woman who touched him in a crowd, "Who touched me? Virtue hath gone out of me." She had pulled that out of him, and how many other people had drawn it? They were all pressing around him, and he didn't feel any loss there because that consciousness wasn't there. The discipleship is more important than anything else. The attitude of the disciple is, in a sense, more important than the guru. Not really, because it is a two-way thing, but because so many people think it's the guru doing it all, therefore I emphasize it in this way. The more you draw, the more you will become what the guru has to offer you. There is a technique that Master taught for attuning yourself to the guru. Visualize, you can look at his picture, or just make an image of him and think of him as being there. Invoke his presence in that form. If it's a picture, particularly look at the eyes. And then visualize those eyes at the point between the eyebrows in the spiritual eye. Call to him deeply there. This is the broadcasting station in the body. And then the radio station, the receiving set, is in the heart. Not the physical heart, but opposite the heart in the spine. And if you will call to him there and then listen in your heart, you will feel his response in the heart. You will feel that attunement. You can get it even with people who don't have that capacity to radiate consciously. You can certainly get it a billion times more with a God-realized master. You'll notice that in attunement with different masters, you'll have a different kind of radiation, a different kind of consciousness. You'll feel wisdom if you meditate on Sri Yukteswar. You'll feel sweetness and compassion meditating on Christ. You'll feel unutterable joy meditating on Babaji and love, meditating on Yogananda, love and peace and willpower, strength. Each one, it's a different kind of love from each one, a different kind of power, because it's his own personality as well as the divine flowing through that personality. But that personality, as you meditate on it in yourself, will give you the power to grow spiritually. Master said that when you pray to a master like this and feel his response, then call to him, "Introduce me to God." You don't want to just become attuned to one person. You want to use that as a window through which you look outward to infinity, through which your soul soars outward to embrace infinity. And so, call to him when you feel his presence. Call to him, "Introduce me to God. Make me one with the infinite." This is how to attune yourself with the Guru.
So it's lovely to hear Swamiji's voice like that and tune in. It was 77 years ago today, I believe, in that little room at Hollywood Temple. Many of us have been there, to the place where Swamiji finally met his guru. He was just a young man, 22 years old, and he was desperately seeking truth. And we've read all about it, many of us in the New Path. and heard about it again and again. And wrapped up in all the drama of that momentous occasion, and it was a powerful moment when he finally met Yogananda. He received him and blessed him, and it changed his life forever. He said 6 words that meant everything and still mean everything all these years later. I want to be your disciple. And he spoke those from the depths of his heart and soul. And that opened the door not only to change his life, but really for all of our lives, for all of the path of Ananda, of self-realization fellowship. Beyond all form, it opened the door for Yogananda's blessings to flow through Kriyananda, to the extent where all those years later, 60-some years of living his discipleship, Swamiji said, I don't even know where Yogananda ends and Kriyananda begins anymore. So much have I given everything over and again to my guru. And so all of the music and the beautiful writings and lectures that he shared, the friendship that he shared, it was just master, more and more pouring through him in his discipleship. And there's one spiritual quality that isn't emphasized as often as certain ones like attunement, that is all important. And in its own way, steadfastness is a spiritual quality above all others that brings us to union with God. Because if there's one thing that will take us all the way there, it is to be steadfast, to be loyal. As Yogananda said, loyalty is the first law of spirit, of God. And Swamiji had that and still has that, I believe. Just as all beings, their spirit lives on in the infinite, so do the great ones, especially does their power carry on from the astral and higher realms. And we've seen it at Ananda in the decade and more since Swami Kriyananda's passing, that Yogananda's light continues to shine brightly through all of his disciples, through all those who followed in Kriyananda's footsteps, to be disciples in their own right with that steadfastness that says, I will go on seeking God no matter what comes in my life, no matter what form may change. And it will change. We know it will change. And we know there will be tests and trials and mistakes and moments that we even want to give up or that we feel ourselves slipping. And then all the more do we offer ourselves to Spirit. One disciple who left Mount Washington and just disappeared and left the spiritual path came back years later and could have been ashamed, could have never come back. And Swamiji said he admired her when the other nuns asked her where she had gone and why she had come back. It was clear they were judging her, basically. And she said, would you have me worship my mistakes? I'm here now. I'm back. I'm here to seek and serve and love God. And Swamiji, again, had his own tests and trials and mistakes, but he never gave up on his quest. I want to be your disciple. And he emphasized the need for attunement in that talk, as Yogananda did again and again, in the way that the guru works with the disciple, because that relationship is the entire spiritual path, as we know, and that attunement. And when he told Kriyananda as a young man to edit the lessons that he put out and the magazines that he created for self-realization, Laurie Pratt, another disciple, was already doing that job. And Swamiji said to Master, edit how? And Master just said to him, just edit. And then he said to him, but work fast. There's urgency. Edit like lightning, but don't change a word. And Swami understood. First he was confused, naturally, but then he understood. He wants me to edit in such a way that I'm in tune, that I make changes and work quickly with haste, but keep the spirit of the thing right. That, again, the form will change, but my relationship to Spirit, to the Guru, to God, has to stay true. I have to keep the spirit of that right. Again, disciples came and went. They continue to come and go. When some would leave Mount Washington, Yogananda's presence there, certain disciples asked, Yogananda, where have they gone? When will they come back? And of one disciple, Yogananda said, he's gone. He will never come back. And of another brother disciple, Norman, again, these are all direct disciples of Yogananda, who Master called my giant. He was a big, strong man with a huge heart. Master Norman left too. And they asked about Norman, and Master said, he's never gone. He's always with me. And so it is that we keep in tune, not outwardly, but inwardly to the Guru through our meditation and our spiritual practices and our devotion. And that Swami always exemplified that attunement that happens within. And that devotion that will keep us steadfast on the path to God. And above all, if we go on seeking, as Swami Kriyananda trailblazed for us, we'll find that we have our own discipleship to share, that we have a divine light burning brightly within us, and that we in turn will share that throughout our lives in the only way we can as disciples. I want to be your disciple. That really no other definition need there be in our lives than I am a disciple of a great master, or I am a soul seeking God, and that everything else will fall away, and that we can have our duties and responsibilities and lives that we lead all the more brightly because of our discipleship and the power of Kriya Yoga and all of our techniques and traditions and teachings, again, will burn all the more brightly because of our discipleship, that devotion and attunement will feed us spiritually and all those around us in the world through our discipleship, just as Swamiji exemplified and imparted to us to be one with God. Lord, I will share a little more.
Thank you. The story he's referring to, that a lot of us are familiar with, is in The New Path, which is Swami Kriyananda's book about his life and then his life before Yogananda and after Yogananda. And I just wanted to read a couple lines. I'm not going to read the whole story, although it's quite fun. The chapter that leads up to this, the chapter about him finding the Guru, is called a pilgrim. Yeah, a pilgrim meets his guide. But first, he found the book. He found Autobiography of a Yogi. It didn't look exactly like that one. It wasn't the blue cover, but what's inside is the same as what he read. And he read that book. He found it at a bookstore in New York, and before he even read it, when he left the store, as he was leaving the store, he ran into a friend, an acquaintance that he had, who was also a young man starting out in the world and excited about his life that he saw, stretched out before him. And he was going into advertising, and he was talking to Swami Kriyananda, who at that time was called Donald Walters, about his life and his excitement about these things that were changing in his life. And Swami says he just clutched the book to his chest like this, the autobiography. And he said the shining prospects that Doug was describing, his friend, a way of life that to me spelled desolation, is the word he used. Desolation. My new book in hand, I felt suddenly as though this Indian yogi and I were old friends. The world and I were strangers. But here, meaning the picture on the book, here was one human being, the very first, who knew and understood me, and I hadn't yet even met him physically. So he felt this draw and this connection with Yogananda from the very beginning. Then he read the book. And he took a bus across town, across the country. He described the book, Autobiography of a Yogi remains the greatest book I've ever read. One perusal of it was enough to change my whole life. From that time on, my break with the past was complete. I resolved in the smallest detail to follow Paramahansa Yogananda's teaching. He said, finding that Yogananda recommended a vegetarian diet, I immediately renounced meat, fish, and fowl. He said he could have recommended a diet of bread and water, and I would have adopted that diet without a qualm. So he got on the bus and he went forth across the country. He went to Encinitas, which is one of the centers, one of the places that Yogananda had set up as part of his work down in Encinitas, California. And that's where Swami Kriyananda believed that he would find him. So he went there, and he arrived on, he said, Saturday, September 11th. But he'd been traveling for 4 days on a bus. And so he said first he collapsed and slept. And so that's why the discipleship happened the next day on September 12th. And I won't go into the whole story, but he arrived at Encinitas and asked if he could go and if he could see Yogananda. He said at that time he didn't even know how to pronounce the name. And he'd showed up in a white suit, thinking California, he should wear a white sort of, what would you call it, Bahama sort of stylish suit. And the woman who answered the door, who was a great, great disciple and yogi, said, "Oh, are you here to fix the water in the back?" And he said, "No, I'm here to meet Yogananda." And she said, "Oh, no, he's not here. He's at the church in Hollywood, the Hollywood church." And Swami was stunned. You have a church in Hollywood? And so then he got on the bus again and went back to Hollywood to find him. And then when he got there, he was met by another great disciple and was told, "Oh, he's busy, and if you didn't make an appointment and you didn't write ahead and you didn't arrange for anything, it'll be 2.5 months before you can even get an appointment to see him." And the thing I love about this story is that Swami describes in here all of the swirling thoughts and emotions and confusion of his heart at that time. He said he'd never even heard the term yogi before. He said he wasn't even sure it was some type of yogurt or something. It was all brand new to him. It was 1948, and this was not a common thing. And he was drawn, and he knew that he needed to go, but he also was really confused and didn't know what to expect. And he describes that in here, how he prays, he's inwardly praying and praying, "You've got to accept me, you've got to accept me. I want to be with you." And then at the same time, he was irritated with the woman who told him, "No, you can't see him for a while." He didn't know what he was going to do. And then finally it dawned on him, "Oh, maybe I'm not ready." Maybe that's what's going on here, is that I'm being told I'm not ready to do this. And then he said, as soon as he accepted that in his heart, again, drawing on the Guru and accepting, okay, whatever you say, if I'm not ready, I'll do whatever's necessary, whatever you want me to do, and I will wait as long as it takes. And then what happened? The woman came up to him and said, "The master will see you now. He'll see you next." And he went in to see him. And what he described, the master and I, once the master and I were alone, what large, lustrous eyes now greeted me. What a compassionate sweetness in his smile. Never before had I seen such divine beauty in a human face. The master seated himself on a chair and motioned me to a sofa beside him. "What may I do for you?" For the third time that day, these same gentle words. but this time, how fraught with meaning. And that's when he said, as Badri told us, I want to be your disciple. He said, the reply welled up from my heart. Never had I expected to utter such words to another human being. And the master smiled. And then they talked. He kept inwardly praying, praying and praying that he would be accepted. And when finally Yogananda said, yes, you were accepted, Swami said, he then said, oh no, but it's okay. You don't have to. Thinking that he was, he had convinced Yogananda somehow, because he was so pitiful, I guess, that he said no. But Yogananda explained to him, I only do what Divine Mother asked me to do. And then they also exchanged vibration, sat there in silence. Yogananda blessed him. And he said, I give you my unconditional love. And he asked, will you give me your unconditional love in return? And then he also asked for his unconditional obedience. And Swami Kriyananda had the nerve and had the honesty in his heart to be absolutely transparent with Yogananda and say, but what if I ever think you're wrong? And Yogananda said, I will never do anything that Divine Mother doesn't tell me to do. He also explained, Yogananda explained, that when he met his guru, who is Yukteswar, he also expressed some doubts about that promise. And Yukteswar said, I don't want your love stinks. Because he said, what if I ever find that you're flawed, if I find something wrong? And he said, your love stinks. And Swami knew that he was imparting this story to him to acknowledge these doubts that he was having in his heart. And he said, I give you my unconditional obedience. And then he walked out to the stage. They were in this church, and they were in a back room. And there were some other disciples, other monks there. And then they walked out, and Yogananda said, we have a new brother. And it was quite unusual to be accepted that quickly. Most people came and took all the lessons, which took years, and checked things out. And, it took a while to try to get their feet wet and get into the vibration and be accepted, and to come to terms in their own heart about what this meant to be a disciple and to be with this master who was right there in the flesh. It took most people a while. But, bless you. But Swami was in. He was in from that moment on. He moved to the monastery. He became a monk. He started living the life of a yogi. And his example, he used to tell the story over and over again. And it was not to try to convince people that this was their path. It was not to say, this is the way it should be for you. You should be able to, in a moment, make that decision and make that commitment. It was just his way of sharing his heart and his relationship with his guru, so that we could then tune into that. He was offering us the vibration of a disciple, of how his heart was connected to Yogananda so deeply and so completely. As Badri said, he, over the years, got to the point where he felt that Yogananda was acting through him and was part of him. And there was no Swami Kriyananda and Yogananda over here, that they were partners. They were guru-disciple. They were bound together in every way imaginable. And what he offered when he told this story was the incredible sweetness and the potential that we have for that same relationship, the same depth of connection, the same understanding, and the same fortitude and endurance, and that we shouldn't give up, that depth of commitment and that guru-disciple relationship can be the same for us. It'll look a little different. We're not carbon copies of Swami Kriyananda, but we can have the same connection with our guru until we reach that star, until we reach that freedom together, and that relationship continues for all time. Thank you for being here. What we'll do now is offer the discipleship vow. Please come in, Vikram. Join us. What we'll do, Badri and I will read, there's a prayer and a part that you'll listen to, and then we'll do the vow together if you feel to. You can say it out loud or just say it in your heart, however you want to do that. And then after that, we will have an opportunity while chanting, Badri will play a chant, and we'll have an opportunity to come up and offer our flowers. If you don't have one yet, you can scooch out to the foyer and pick a flower from out there if you'd like. And we'll offer it up here at the altar during the chant. And you can offer a prayer or whatever you'd like to up here at the altar. And then we'll have more music too. So let's all stand while we do this.
So as Lorna said, this is the renewal of our discipleship initiation for all disciples, and for all those, again, just seeking God, can tune into this ceremony that Swamiji wrote. He said, this is acceptance into the spiritual family of Paramahansa Yogananda. So for the first part, just listen and inwardly pray with these words. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, Paramahansa Yogananda, I bow to you all. Divine Mother, I come before thee today, having long sought thy eternal light, long pondered the eternal truths, long followed the winding path that leads to thee. I have walked with my own strength, all too seldom with thine. I have walked with the thought, I want this from life, these answers, that guidance, this pathway, or that. But I have seen that, as often as I made claims on life, it eluded me. As often as I presumed on thy will, it turned away from me. Ah, too long, Mother, have I sought thee for myself, not for thy love. I know now that without thy strength added to mine, infusing it, I shall never find thee. Thine is the power, the grace, the infinite glory. With loving faith now I seek thee, through the ray of thy light that thou hast offered me. I will ascend to thee not by my power alone, but by thy power of infinite love. I am thine, Mother. Be thou eternally mine.
So now, as we said, you can repeat this out loud or silently if you want. I offer myself and service and devotion to your cause.
I offer myself in service and devotion to your cause.
And to the ray of the divine light as it is represented by your channels.
And to the ray of the divine light as it is represented through your channels.
Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, and Paramahansa Yogananda.
Jesus Christ, Swami Krishna, Mary Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, Paramahansa Yogananda.
Accept me into this family of self-realization
Accept me into this family of self-realization,
and make me also, through them, an instrument of thy blessings.
and make me also through them an instrument of thy blessing.
Thus, as I receive, may others be blessed also to receive.
Thus, as I receive, may others be blessed also to receive.
I will join my energies to those of my Guru Bhais, my spiritual family on earth.
I will join my energies to those of my Guru Bhais, my spiritual family on earth.
I will cooperate with them,
I will cooperate with them,
and especially with the living representatives and guides of my divine line of gurus.
and especially the living representatives of thy divine line of gurus.
Discipline me,
Discipline me,
guide me,
guide me,
purify me.
purify me,
Teach me to attune myself to thy ray,
teach me to attune myself to thy ray,
until at last,
until at last,
through daily meditation,
through daily meditation,
service and devotion,
service and devotion,
I unite my soul with thy infinite spirit.
I unite my soul with thy infinite spirit.
Om. Amen. And now you can be seated if you'd like. Badri is going to play a chant, and we'll come up. Mari and Hanuman will start and come up as we chant and offer your flower at the altar. You can place the flowers with the flower color out. It's prettier that way.
Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me. Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Wilt thou come, wilt thou come, just for once come to me? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, night and day, I look for thee night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Oh, wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Wilt thou come? Wilt thou come? Just for once come to me. Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Will my days fly away without seeing thee, my Lord? Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Oh, night and day, I look for thee night and day. Night and day, I look for thee night and day. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee. Door of my heart, open wide I keep for thee.
Let's meditate for just a few moments again together, continuing to offer our devotion, our discipleship to the Guru. We'll have the choir come up and we'll share our final few songs together.
time has come for us to see that there's but one reality upon the earth and high above, the truth that all was made from love, a love that calls to us to fly above the hills, above the sky, above the storms, above the pain, a land where peace and laughter reign. Oh, Master, may thy joy fill our days. Oh, Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways. Guide all our hopes and all our dreams, past every glow that only seems, into the light, the inner sun, into the truth that we're all one. Help us to find in every hour, in every thought, in every flower, a joy that spans eternity, the truth that makes us ever free. Oh, Master, may thy joy fill our days. Oh, Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways. The time has come for us to see that there's but one reality upon the earth and high above, the truth that all was made from love, a love that calls to us to fly above the hills, above the skies, above the storms, above the pain, a land where peace and laughter reign. Oh, Master, may thy joy fill our days. Oh, Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways. Guide all our hopes and all our dreams, past every glow that only seems, into the light, the inner sun, into the truth that we're all one. Help us to find in every hour, in every thought, in every flower, that joy that spans eternity, the truth that makes us ever free. Oh, Master, may thy joy fill our days. Oh, Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways.
Again, let's just pause for a few more moments to draw deeply on the inspiration and the devotion of this music, Swami Kriyananda's discipleship and life in God, and the blessings of the Masters and Divine Mother in our hearts. And let's close with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, beloved God, Great Gurus, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, Paramahansa Yogananda, all beloved saints, dearest friend and guide, Swami Kriyananda, we bow to you all again and again. Divine Mother, great Gurus, Master and Swamiji, thank you for this life in God, this path of self-realization, and this spiritual family. Bless our soul's journey with courage and strength, with wisdom and love, and with divine bliss, to go on seeking, to find our oneness with Thee in this lifetime, and to share these blessings with all the world. Om. Peace. Amen. Thank you all for coming. I'll just play one more chant softly as we leave the sanctuary, and let's otherwise maintain quiet in here. I can chat quietly outside. Thank you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget Thee. I will never forsake Thee. I will never forget Thee. I will never forsake Thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget Thee. I will never forsake Thee. I will never forget Thee. I will never forsake Thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget Thee. I will never forsake Thee. I will never forget Thee. I will never forsake Thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen
my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake